Tuesday, March 31st. Today on Your Morning Atlantic, another big increase for prices at the pumps in both Nova Scotia and P.E.I. as the conflict in the Middle East continues. Your top news headlines just ahead.
And celebrating our differences, April is Neurodiversity Celebration Month, and we'll speak with a doctor about changing the way we approach the idea of mental health.
Plus, refreshing your space for spring. Designer Steven Sabados will join us with affordable decor picks from Walmart. All that and so much more on the Tuesday edition of CTV's Your Morning Atlantic.
Come on in. Almost 6:01 on this Tuesday, March 31st. Last day of March, everybody. Woo! Savor the month of March. Because she's going.
She gone.
She go. Brienne, nice to have you back.
She's not gone.
She's back. Tavia's going today. She'll be back, but who knows when?
Who knows?
Might be tomorrow. Might be 2 days. She's just not feeling that great. You know, something's going around right now.
Yeah. There's so much going around right now as I continue to still have tissues nearby.
Yeah, you're still fighting off whatever you had last week.
Yeah, the flu. It's really kicking quite a few people down. I'm not saying that's what Latavia have by any means, but I know I'm certainly not the only person still under the weather.
Yeah. Definitely going through most places, most workplaces.
Well, knock on
whatever this is.
Yeah, exactly.
Knock on grass.
It's so far hanging in there.
Yep, you and me both, Crystal.
Exactly, great. Cold-free. But it's nice, when you feel a little sniffly, it's nice for people at home who are doing the same. They're like, I'm not alone.
Nope.
I'm not alone.
It is so true. And I think I'm not alone in thinking, okay, I'm ready to say goodbye to the month of March. Hello to April showers and hopefully eventually April sunshine as we take a live look at Grand Falls where there's snow on the ground.
Yeah, still wintry there.
So about that April spring weather, that is not in our forecast. As we head into April, it's going to be a little bit more wintry, a little bit more gross as we take a look here at current temperatures. Cold up in Labrador because we do have a cold warning in effect up there. We are seeing milder temperatures across most of Nova Scotia as well as through southern parts of New Brunswick. However, we are expecting some nasty weather coming through. So first we'll start with a special weather statement that will begin tonight into Wednesday. Significant snow, ice pellets, and freezing rain coming our way. There is some low pressure systems coming through. We have an orange alert in effect. We have yellow alerts in effect. So we'll start with that orange alerts. We can expect freezing rain overnight tonight into Wednesday. Significant ice buildup due to that freezing rain. So that is something to take into consideration because that is going to create messy conditions to start your day tomorrow. Now, the yellow alerts that are in effect, again, are freezing rain. So still of the severity of that yellow system coming through, we are still seeing some snowfall as well over in parts of Cape Breton. So that's going to see about 20 to 25 centimeters of snow. And again, that significant freezing rain buildup in that southern portion of New Brunswick as it makes its way into Nova Scotia as well. Now, we do have a couple of yellow level alerts over in Labrador as well. That cold warning, as we already saw with those temperatures, that's going to continue into early Wednesday morning with periods of very cold wind chills near that minus 45 degree mark. And a wind warning no longer exists for parts of Newfoundland, so that is exciting. But as we take a look here at the winds, they are still gusting pretty heavily, especially in that St. John's area. So do take that into consideration as you head about your morning. Of course, I'll have a full look at that forecast coming up in just a bit. But for now, let's head over to Amanda for your first look at news headlines on this Tuesday.
Thank you, Brienne. And we begin with another big increase for prices at the pumps in both Nova Scotia and Prince Edward Island as the conflict in the Middle East continues. In Nova Scotia Zone 1, the Halifax area, gas increased by 7.1 cents. The minimum price now $1.82.9 a litre. And diesel in the Halifax area increased by nearly 11 cents overnight. The minimum price now $2.46.7. And in Prince Edward Island, gas increased by 8.2 cents. The minimum price now nearing the $2 mark. It's $1.94.8. and diesel increased by 13.8 cents. The minimum price now $2.56.3 a liter. Prices did not change in New Brunswick Monday night. P.E.I. has become the first province in the country to lower the screening age for colorectal cancer to 45. The Premier made the announcement Monday, saying it's effective immediately. Several national health groups have noted recently the disease is increasingly showing up in younger people. Colorectal Cancer Canada and the Canadian Cancer Society are among those urging all provinces to drop the screening age to 45 from the current 50. The assault case against the stepfather of the two missing Sullivan children has been pushed to May 4th. The lawyer for Daniel Martel requested more time to go through newly disclosed evidence, some just handed over in the last few days by the RCMP. No plea was entered, no testimony was heard, and Martel did not appear in court. His lawyer attended on his behalf. He is charged with alleged assault, unlawful confinement, and sexual assault. There is a public ban on the identity of the alleged victim. Police insist it is not connected to the children's disappearance. The Sullivan siblings have been missing from their Pictou County home in Lansdowne Station since May 2nd of last year. Nova Scotia's Serious Incident Response Team is investigating after a man was struck and killed on a highway Saturday night, allegedly by an off-duty police officer from Bridgewater. CERT says the victim was walking along the side of Highway 103 when he was hit. Investigators do not believe alcohol was a factor, but the probe is ongoing. Opposition parties in New Brunswick are offering their initial reactions to the results of a review on NB Power.
I don't see a whole lot of earth-shattering things here that's going to make anything all that better for ratepayers.
People will be disappointed that it doesn't make strong recommendations that would make their power costs more affordable.
After a year of public consultation, the authors of a review on NB Power released 50 recommendations meant to stabilize the utility and make future rate increases predictable. However, the report offers no relief for customers expecting to see their bills go down. Instead, the panel says the provincial government should take over some of the utility's $6 billion debt to cover rate caps and freezes implemented by past provincial governments. The province's energy minister says government will act on the recommendations in a timely and transparent way, and that next steps will be announced by the end of May. The man in charge of Nova Scotia Power admits the utility has an image problem with its customers.
All I can tell you is I've spent the last month, and prior to that, 2 weeks beforehand, I went out to visit our plants, visit our depots, tour the province. I'm going to spend a lot of time listening to customers in all regions, and that's work that's already been happening before me, but I am going to continue it. And we are going to restore trust, and we are going to be transparent.
Vivek Sood assumed the top job at the beginning of the month. He was our guest last night on CTV News at 6 with Bruce Frisco. Another setback for that private company that hoped to infill part of Dartmouth Cove for a development project. In a statement Monday afternoon, the Minister of Fisheries and Oceans said she would not approve the project because it would, quote, permanently destroy local marine life and fish habitat. There is no benefit to the community, said Joanne Thompson. It's infilling for the sake of infilling. The company had planned to dump truckloads of pyritic slate into the water for future development, but there's been steady pushback from area residents and HRM Council. The company behind the plan says it's already working on a lawsuit against the minister and a local MP for alleged political interference. Finally, this is just adorable video. A 3-month-old southern white rhino calf and 2 4-month-old giraffe calves took their first steps outdoors at the largest zoo in the UK. They're so sweet. Rhino calf Mick, born at the end of December, was seen racing around the paddock by her mother's side as giraffe siblings, Leonie and Duke, born 3 weeks apart, galloped around the grassy knolls. All 3 calves will join conservation breeding programs for their species at this zoo.
This is the news we need.
This is the news. I know our director, Vicky, is allergic to giraffes, so I'm sorry. But this is frolicking. This is spring frolicking. I want more of it in my life.
I know. Who knew they could be so fast?
How do you know you're allergic to giraffes?
So she was actually on a shoot. She was on assignment in Florida. Her and Ann Almeida went down there a few years ago, and she pat a giraffe, and she had a reaction.
Yeah.
So they're not like cats then?
No.
Absolutely.
Well,
in many ways.
In many ways. I mean, I guess they're both mammals, but beyond that, it's not many similarities. But yeah. You know what? I am a big fan of animals. We all are. I know you're not a big fan of birds. I am.
You love birds.
I love birds. Fans of birds, bird watching, and eagles can now enjoy this bird's eye view. An online video live stream of 2 bald eagles in their nest in Gardner Mines in Cape Breton is officially now available to view. The Port Morean Wildlife Association calls this the first of its kind life cycle educational initiative here in Atlantic Canada. This is the launch of it yesterday in Cape Breton. They say the idea aims to educate people about eagles, and indeed people have been checking in on the eagles. In case you're wondering, they have been named. There's the cam. So we will try to pull that up on a regular basis. I can work with the control to do this. One of those names, Bruce.
Frisco?
No, I don't think so.
Oh. That's Bruce for sure.
That's Bruce. See, what a gorgeous eagle. And Suji is the other. The live stream link is available on our website. It's on YouTube. But I'm going to pull this up every once in a while. We'll check in on Bruce and Suji.
It's not that I'm not a fan of birds. It's just birds aren't a fan of me.
Okay, fair.
Right,
That's
okay.
fair. That's cool. We can work on that relationship. We can do it. All right. Yeah, so there you go.
All right, well, stick with us because we're just getting started. We'll have your first look at your national and international news headlines on this Tuesday morning. And also, Brienne has the latest look at the full forecast for the last day of March and a sneak peek into what we can expect for the beginning of the new month. Here's a live look at a calm start to the day in Lunenburg, Nova Scotia, the beautiful South Shore. The forecast is up next.
Good morning, Halifax. It's just cusping on 6:15. 6:45 if you are in Newfoundland and parts of Labrador. And as we take a look here at the Armdale Roundabout this morning, traffic is going a little bit smoothly, although we will see cloudy conditions throughout the region for today. A little bit of a cooler start in some areas of Atlantic Canada, but for most of the Maritimes, we're seeing a pretty warm start to the day, especially throughout most of Nova Scotia, as well as southern parts of New Brunswick. A little bit colder up in the northern parts. Again, colder conditions over in Labrador, and that's because we are seeing some wintry weather coming through. Yes, we do have a number of statements as well as watches and warnings to take a look at. So we'll start with this special weather statement. In effect tonight into Wednesday morning, we are expecting to see significant snow, ice pellets, and freezing rain coming across the region. A low pressure system is moving itself into parts of Atlantic Canada starting a little bit later this afternoon. We have an orange level alert as well as a couple of yellow level alerts. So starting with that orange level, we are going to see freezing rain impacting overnight into Wednesday morning. Significant ice buildup is going to be the main concern from that freezing rain coming through. So that could cause slippery conditions as well heading into the early hours of Wednesday morning. Those yellow level alerts, again, freezing rain with that accumulation of ice buildup because of the freezing rain. So again, something to watch, but that yellow level alert, and then of course, significant snowfall up to 25 centimeters of snow for parts of Cape Breton. Now we also have a yellow level alert for that cold warning in Labrador. So that's going to begin early Wednesday morning, and we could see periods of -45 wind chills. So again, if you have to start your day on Wednesday, it is going to be a little bit messy, and that's because this system is coming through. So we are going to start to see it really impacting into most of Nova Scotia a little bit later this afternoon. Start to see some of those flurries come across through central parts of New Brunswick. Pretty much the most of the impact is going to be throughout Newfoundland for the majority of today. This evening, that's when we'll see it start to settle really into the entire region. So we are seeing that significant freezing rain, that snow, that rain coming through. So depending on the temperatures and where you are, it is a wintry mix. We're pretty much seeing all types of precipitation coming through with this system. And then it's really going to blanket into the early hours of Wednesday morning and stick around throughout the course of the morning. Should be clearing by the later afternoon. Now, taking a look at our forecast today, warmer conditions, but again, that wintry mix coming through, really impacting through central parts of New Brunswick as well as northern parts. We're going to see mostly snow up there, and that wintry mix coming through central as well as that rain through the Bay of Fundy area. Over on Prince Edward Island, we're going to start to see those flurries start to impact a little bit later into the afternoon. Could see that wintry mix as well. Into Cape Breton, again, that wintry mix is pretty much coming across. And then as we head over into eastern parts of Nova Scotia, that's continuing this afternoon as well. Colder conditions, but sunny skies in Labrador. And we are seeing some of that wintry mix hanging around for Newfoundland. I'll have more on the weather later, but for now, let's head over to Amanda for a look at national and international headlines.
Thank you, Brianne. We begin with the latest on the war in the Middle East. There were new attacks overnight across the region, causing oil prices to surge. U.S. President Donald Trump says he's working behind the scenes to make a deal to end the war. ABC's Olivia Rubin has the latest.
Overnight, the volatility around the Strait of Hormuz sending prices skyrocketing. Gas reaching an average of $4 a gallon for the first time in more than 3 years, according to AAA. In Israel, an oil refinery catching fire. Israel says it was caused by debris from an intercepted missile barrage. The attacks coming amid this new threat from President Trump, warning the U.S. will be, quote, blowing up and completely obliterating Iranian energy infrastructure and drinking water plants if Iran doesn't make a deal and reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Still, Trump this week insisting a deal to end the war could come soon.
They're agreeing with us on the plan. I mean, we asked for 15 things, and for the most part, we're going to be asking for a couple of other things.
But Iran publicly denying they're negotiating, calling the U.S. proposal excessive, unrealistic, and illogical. ABC's Rachel Scott pressing the White House.
So how do you square that? How do you explain that discrepancy between the two?
I think the American people are smart enough not to take the word of a terrorist regime that has chanted death to America for 47 years at their word.
Nearly 50,000 U.S. troops now in the region, including 3,500 sailors and Marines from the 31st Marine Expeditionary Unit. The president not ruling out a ground invasion. And in the meantime, another oil tanker attacked in the Middle East, struck by an unknown projectile near the critical Strait of Hormuz. That tanker from Kuwait reportedly carrying 2 million barrels of crude oil. Olivia Rubin, ABC News, Washington.
Air Canada says its CEO will retire later this year after nearly 2 decades in the role. The airline says work is already underway to find Michael Rousseau's successor, and that one of the criteria will be the ability to speak French. Rousseau has been under fire over his language skills ever since he released a mostly English message of condolence after the fatal plane crash at LaGuardia that killed 2 pilots, one from Quebec. Rousseau apologized last week. Canada's very own Celine Dion is returning to the spotlight with a concert series in Paris.
I'm getting the chance to see you, to perform for you once again in Paris.
The star celebrated her 58th birthday yesterday. Dion says she is, quote, doing great after the diagnosis of an incurable autoimmune disorder in 2022, forcing her off the stage. The Eiffel Tower was lit up to mark the countdown to the icon's comeback concert series in Paris. 10 shows kicking off September 12th. Quick break here. When we return, we'll have your top business headlines, plus your must-see moment from our colleagues at TSN. Your Morning Atlantic. We'll be right back.
Move Mornings with Aaron and Peter. Weekday mornings on Move 100. The most fun in the morning. And home of the $1,000 minute. Only on Move 100 Halifax.
was a great day.
That was a great day.
I love Newfoundland.
Yep.
All right, it's 6:25 and time now to check in with our friends at TSN Sports Center for today's must-see moment.
Hi, everyone. Mark Rowe inside the Sports Center newsroom with your must-see moment from Monday. We head to New York with the Islanders taking on the Penguins. Matt Barzal with the one-timer. Doesn't get all of it. And check out the save by Arthur Shelovs. Just gets his leg up to try a scorpion-style save. Gets a little bit of help from Parker Witherspoon as well. Does everything he can to keep the puck out and succeeds. The Pens won 8-3. It's the Shelovs save claiming the must-see moment. And tonight on TSN, with the World Cup fast approaching, we've got Canada's men's national team taking on Tunisia in a friendly. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific. That's all from the Sports Center newsroom. Have a great day.
This TSN must-see moment brought to you by J.R. Rahe's Furniture and Appliances.
Well, we can bet my friend Matt Shinetti will be there live on location for that game. But now to go to business. We'll go to check in with our colleagues at BNN.
The price of oil continues to climb as, on the flip side, uncertainty drags down the markets. West Texas Intermediate futures rose more than 3% today, the highest since July 2022, and Brent trading even higher. The latest rise in prices comes as Donald Trump is once again threatening attacks on Iran's energy infrastructure. Traders are warning an even bigger energy increase could be on the rise if the conflict does not end soon. And here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is down to $71.80. West Texas Intermediate is up over $104 a barrel. Western Canadian Select is up to $81.36. And the TSX dropped more than 25 points to finish the day. Those are your business headlines. I'm Lindsay Biscaya.
Taking a look here at our 3-day forecast. Yeah, not a great way to start April. We are seeing March end like a lion with that wintry mix hanging around from Tuesday into Wednesday afternoon before we see some sunny breaks on Thursday. Over in Nova Scotia, much of the same, another wintry mix, some afternoon showers and flurries coming through. Into Wednesday, those will hang around for the course of the morning before things clear out, and then we will see a chance of snow and rain on Thursday, but mostly cloudy conditions with that sun popping out. And as we head over onto Prince Edward Island, cloudy conditions for today before we see some rain move in this afternoon into the early hours of the evening. And we'll continue to see that through the early hours of Wednesday before things clear out on Thursday. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Coming up this half hour, the Move Morning Chat. Today, we want to know what minimum wage was when you took your first job. That's in about 15 minutes on Your Morning Atlantic.
Dig into the archives a bit for that one. It is 6:31 on this Tuesday morning, March 31st, the last day of March. And to deliver the forecast for us this morning, we brought in Brianne Foley. It's good to see you, Brianne.
Well, thanks for having me. You guys always like to bring me in when the weather's gross.
Who says snow and wind and rain at the end of March is gross? You know, who says
It's pretty Marchy. It's
Marchy. In like a lion, out like a lamb. We had it in like a lamb, so it's coming out like a lion, unfortunately.
Okay.
We might have to sell the farm.
Might have to sell the farm or, you know, get rid of the lions. I don't know. Of course, we are taking a look at Moncton here. Calm conditions to start the day, and we'll pretty much see cloudy conditions as we head throughout our day today. But we do have some messy weather on its way, like I said, unfortunately, out like a lion. Now, we are seeing those warmer temperatures through southern and central parts of New Brunswick as well as Nova Scotia, a little bit colder up in northern parts, and definitely colder over in Labrador as well. But we do have a special weather statement with rain freezing rain, snow, ice pellets, all coming through. Basically, every type of precipitation that you can think of is en route for us a little bit later today. We have orange level alerts, yellow level alerts. So we'll start with that orange level alert. Freezing rain overnight Tuesday into Wednesday could see significant buildup due to freezing rain. So that's going to be the major concern heading into the day on Wednesday. Much of the same over in the southern and central portions of New Brunswick as that system wallops that area coming across the Maritimes. And then, of course, we have significant snowfall impacting into parts of Cape Breton overnight into Wednesday morning. Over in Labrador, an extreme cold warning early Wednesday morning with periods of very cold wind chills near -45. We still have pretty significant gusting winds coming through, but I'll have a full look at that forecast coming up. For now, let's head over to Amanda for a look at news.
And we begin with another big increase for prices at the pumps in both Nova Scotia and Prince Edward Island as the conflict in the Middle East continues. In Nova Scotia, Zone 1, gas increased by 7.1 cents. The minimum price now $1.82.9. Diesel in the Halifax area increased by nearly 11 cents. The minimum price now $2.46.7. And in Prince Edward Island, gas increased by 8.2 cents. The minimum price now $1.94.8, and diesel increased by 13.8. The minimum price $2.56.3 a liter. Prices did not change in New Brunswick Monday night. A Cape Breton man who lost 4 family members in an impaired driving crash in Quebec back in 2021 is outraged. The man who caused the crash is getting some freedom to visit family.
They told us that they would make an example of this man for killing 4 people, but yet now the same system is slapping me in the face.
David Fletcher's family, his father and sister, along with a niece and nephew, were killed in an impaired driving crash in Beauport, Quebec. Eric Laguerre was sentenced to 15 years in jail and a 25-year driving ban, one of the stiffest penalties in the province's history for a DUI causing death. Now he's been granted temporary absences from prison to visit family members. The Parole Board of Canada says Laguerre's behavior while in custody and the fact he has shown some remorse justifies the decision. Conditions include that he must not consume drugs or alcohol or have any contact with the victim's family. Tributes continue to pour in for a maritime hockey icon and trailblazer. Bill Riley of Amherst passed away on Saturday at the age of 75 after a long illness. He was just the 3rd black player in the NHL and the first black NHL player from Nova Scotia. Riley suited up with the Washington Capitals and Winnipeg Jets. At a rink in his hometown, a longtime friend remembers what he did as a junior coach there.
Billy didn't believe that his championship team with the Ramblers were properly recognized, so he bought them all championship rings.
Bill Riley epitomized that era of the American Hockey League. Skilled, gritty, character player, throwback player. And what he did for the game of hockey in this region will leave a lasting legacy.
Riley was also a big part of Moncton's hockey community, winning the Calder Cup with the New Brunswick Hawks in 1982 and becoming the first ever head coach for the Moncton Wildcats. Family and friends from all over North America are coming to Nova Scotia to say their goodbyes. P.E.I. is changing the way it approaches colorectal cancer by lowering the screening age from 50 to 45. The move lands in the middle of a broader national push to expand eligibility with the hope of earlier detection. Here is CTV's Maria Saru.
P.E.I.'s top health officials say the province is leading the country in lowering the colorectal cancer screening age.
Waiting till 50 is no longer an option. It's just not enough.
Starting today, Islanders aged 45 to 74 at average risk will now be eligible for a fecal immunochemical test, or FIT for short, every 2 years. It's an at-home tool that can detect early signs before symptoms appear. The Canadian Cancer Society has asked all provinces and territories to make the change, citing rising rates among younger adults.
Particularly those under the age of 50 are 2 to 2.5 times more likely than previous generations to be diagnosed with colorectal cancer.
Challenges include expanding lab capacity and access to follow-up colonoscopies. But the province says it's ready.
Each year, P.E.I. sees about 140 new colorectal cancer cases and 39 deaths. These aren't statistics, they are our neighbors, our friends, and our loved ones.
It won't just save lives, but it'll also save money, according to experts.
What we found is that over the next 45 years or so, we can save in Canada over 6,000 lives and about $233 million to the healthcare system.
Last week, the Nova Scotia Liberals tabled a bill to do the same, writing in a news release that colorectal cancer is the third leading cause of cancer deaths in Canada.
The call from cancer advocates is for other jurisdictions to lower their starting age, but also for eligible people to actively participate by filling out these forms and mailing in these tests. Maria Through, CTV News, Charlottetown.
Thank you so much, Maria. All right, we're going to take a quick break, so still ahead, we're going to have your entertainment headlines, but up next, it's the Move Morning Chat, and today we are asking, what was minimum wage at your first job? And also, what was the job? Stay with us. We'll be right back at 6:39.
Good morning, St. John. 642, 712 if you're in Newfoundland and parts of Labrador. And it's a calmer start to the day. We won't see a whole lot of gusting wind coming through for this area today, but we are going to see some weather coming through, unfortunately. So we do have a low pressure system moving itself into our region. To start the day, we'll see mostly cloudy conditions across the Maritimes. A little bit warmer start to the day, especially in the southern and central portions of New Brunswick, as well as down in Nova Scotia. Colder conditions up in northern parts, and then, of course, cold conditions up in Labrador for today, but we will see some sun shining through. Now, we do have, like I said, a system coming through, so special weather statement in effect tonight into Wednesday morning, seeing significant snow, ice pellets, and freezing rain coming through. We have an orange level alert as well as yellow level alerts. So let's start with that orange level alert. We are going to continue to see freezing rain overnight into Wednesday morning. Significant ice buildup can be a factor as well due to that freezing rain, and that's going to continue into southern and central parts of New Brunswick as well. So this is going to be a concern, especially if you're getting out on the roads in the early hours tomorrow morning, so take that into consideration. And then we also have significant snowfall overnight, 20 to 25 centimeters of snow for parts of Cape Breton. So again, something to take into consideration. And then we do have a cold warning in effect for parts of Labrador. That's going to be early Wednesday morning, periods of very cold wind chills near that minus 45 mark. So again, a cold start to the day. As we take a look here at the forecasted timeline, we're starting to see that system push in a little bit later this afternoon, really blanketing the majority of the Maritimes a little bit later this evening. So this system is going to hang around through the course of the night, bringing with it basically every type of precipitation. So we are seeing snow up in northern parts of New Brunswick. We're seeing that freezing rain through central parts, and then we are seeing rain through the majority of Nova Scotia. But again, it's going to be a wintry mix pretty much across the board, hanging around into the early hours of Wednesday. So taking a look forward today, we are going to see those warmer temperatures, but again, that mix. So we'll start to see some sunshine through northern parts of New Brunswick to start the day. And then we start to see that system push in a little bit later this afternoon around that noon hour. It'll start to increase into Prince Edward Island a little bit later into the afternoon. Again, still above freezing temperatures. Mostly the same over in parts of Cape Breton as well as eastern parts of Nova Scotia. Again, that wintry mix, depending on where you are going to see a little bit more flurries or a little bit more rainfall, and that's going to continue pretty much across most of mainland Nova Scotia as well. So over into Labrador, colder conditions, but that sun is shining for the most part. We are going to continue to see some of those flurries impacting into Happy Valley, Goose Bay, and St. Anthony. And then as we head into Newfoundland, yes, that wintry mix is really going to be impacting and walloping into there as well. But it's time now for the Move Morning Chat, and we want to know, what was minimum wage when you first started your first job?
It's the Move Morning Chat with our friends Aaron and Peter. April 1st is coming up, and that's usually the time we'll see an increase in minimum wage around the region. So it did get us thinking, what was minimum wage when you started working? So we're going to have some interesting numbers to share. Aaron and Peter, let's start with you two.
Okay, so let me start. My first full-time summer job I had when I was 13. I was working in a sawmill, but it was a family business. So that's what the caveat that I want to put on this, because the minimum wage at that time, as far as I know, was $2.50 an hour. That's what people inside the mill were making. I would show a picture, but photography wasn't invented yet, so I can't give you a picture. So $2.50. But as I say, it was a family business, and my grandfather, who was the head of this family business, did not think that it would be a good idea for me to be making the same as the other folks who were working in the sawmill at the time. That wouldn't look good. He didn't think so. So I made $2 an hour for working that 45-hour week when I was 13.
Crazy.
Wow, $2 an hour is something. I made a little bit more with my first job. I waited until, as soon as I was 16, I knew that I wanted to work at Starbucks.
Ooh.
So that's what I did. And when I tell you, I thought I was rolling in the dough. I'm pretty sure the hourly wage when I was 16 was, $10 or $11. But to me, I'm like, this is amazing.
That's luxury.
Working at Starbucks, making all these fancy drinks, you got great benefits, even as a part-time worker. You take home coffee every week. And I ended up being there for like 8 years because I couldn't get enough. So anyways, it was an amazing first job. And yeah, I thought I was just rolling in the dough, which I kind of was for that age.
Totally. No, that's great. Yeah. My very first job probably was babysitting. That remember, the going rate was $2 an hour, which was highway robbery. I mean, the amount of work. One time I babysat kids for a whole weekend, 3 kids for a whole weekend.
What?
For $2 an hour. Insane.
I hope that included overnight.
Well, then I made no money when I was working on our own farm, but then I got a job at the corn stand down the street, where it was my favorite job. You take a piece of, I had to boil the corn in a pot, and then you take it out of the pot and skewer it, and then put like this little pan of melted butter, and then you like feed the person the corn on a stick. That was awesome. I made $3.25 at that job.
That was perfect.
What a dream.
I know.
My first part-time job was in Lower Sackville. It was at the Irving Blue Canoe back when it was called that. So that was the corner store associated with the Irving gas station. And I had to look it up because I was thinking, oh, maybe it was $10 an hour. No, it was $6.80. This was back in 2005, and then it went up to $7.15 after a few months. So I remember thinking, I am making so much money and can pay for clothes and movies. But I'm glad we're talking about this because we had a babysitter, and she is wonderful. She's in junior high. She watches our little guy. I'm going to let you guys know. So I was paying her, and I said, okay, still $10 an hour. So $10 an hour for a babysitter. Totally worth it. And she goes, yeah. And you know, we'll keep it for 10 for now, but next time it is going to go up to $12 an hour.
Wow. Yeah, my daughter wanted to charge minimum wage for babysitting too. I don't know if she got away with it or not. But
well, and the thing is, she's a young woman. She's worth all the money, and she's also looking at getting her first part-time job. But I don't want to lose her as a babysitter.
Yeah. I was paying $10 an hour when my kids were little, and that was like 10 years ago. So maybe it has gone up. We want to know, first of all, how much you're paying your babysitters, A, and B, minimum wage. How much was it when you started your first job? Text us at 10400. We're going to have a little fun at the end of the show.
The #1 morning show in Halifax. Turk, Megan, and Amateur Alex. And home to the biggest artists. Halifax's #1 hit music station. 101.3 Virgin Radio.
Welcome back. It's 6:53. I want to continue that conversation about the minimum wage because Brianne hasn't had a chance to weigh in. What was your first job? How much were you making an hour?
So my first job was definitely babysitting. I definitely did that as well. But my first actual job working for someone, I worked at a grocery store. It was called Loeb. I don't think those exist anymore.
Loeb, okay.
But I'm pretty sure it was like $7.10.
Okay.
Was my minimum.
What was
wage.
the babysitting rate?
Babysitting rates. So I babysat next door to me. They just gave me like a flat rate. They just gave me like 20 bucks a time.
Okay.
And then I babysat 3 boys down the road. So the 3 boys down the road, they gave me more money because that had my hands full.
Yeah, that's well understood. I always, when I did have a babysitter, I always paid her really well and tipped her well because I wanted her to say yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I was just down the road, right? So I was very conveniently placed for that.
Yeah. Good times, good times.
All right, well, speaking of good times, we need to go to more good times. So we're going to go to Hollywood for your entertainment headlines.
Celine Dion's show will go on.
I'm getting the chance to see you, to perform for you once again in Paris.
After teasing the announcement last week, the Canadian superstar has confirmed a limited engagement at Paris La Défense Arena in the City of Lights. She'll play 10 nights starting September 12th. These will be the first full concerts she's played since 2020 and her first since revealing her stiff person syndrome diagnosis in 2022.
She's crashing!
Grey's Anatomy isn't going anywhere. ABC confirmed on Monday that the beloved series will return for a 23rd season. Last year, it was the #1 most streamed series globally across Disney Plus and Hulu, and the #2 most streamed show in the U.S. across all platforms.
Have you been to Mexico?
Me? In Mexico?
The return of HBO's Euphoria is weeks away, and we've got a new look at season 3, which takes place after a time jump. In the new trailer, Rue is interrogated by DEA agents. Nate and Cassie get married. Jules returns to sex work, and Lexi gets great reviews for her play. Euphoria returns April 12th on HBO and HBO Max. And Christopher Walken is 83 today. That's what's happening in Hollywood. Melissa Adon, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Lots of cowbell for Christopher Walken. All right, happening now in local news. Gas and diesel prices in Prince Edward Island and Nova Scotia surged overnight as the war in the Middle East continues to impact fuel prices around the globe. Plus, P.E.I. has become the first province in the country to lower the screening age for colorectal cancer down to 45. Plus, let's look up. Artemis 2 mission. NASA has begun its countdown for humanity's first launch to the moon in 53 years. The rocket's poised to blast off tomorrow night with Canadian Jeremy Hansen and 3 other astronauts. We'll have the latest details coming up next in news headlines. But first, it is a look at the 3-day forecast for a look at the new month with Brianne.
Thanks, Amanda. And as we take a look at that forecast, well, we're continuing to see some wintry conditions hanging around this March 31st. So we are seeing a low pressure system move into the region. That's going to bring a wintry mix Tuesday into the early hours of Wednesday morning. Things start to clear out. And then as we head into Thursday, we'll see mostly cloudy skies with a few sunny breaks. On Nova Scotia's island, we will continue to see that wintry mix impacting Tuesday afternoon into the early hours of Wednesday before things clear out. Then Thursday, much of the same conditions as New Brunswick, mostly cloudy conditions with a few sunny breaks. And on Prince Edward Island, yes, you guessed it, that wintry mix continuing as we head into Wednesday, Thursday, some sun and cloud.
It's the last day of March, the 31st. Today on Your Morning Atlantic, there was another big increase for prices at the pumps in both Nova Scotia and Prince Edward Island. We'll have the latest numbers just ahead during your top news headlines.
And celebrating neurodiversity, we'll chat with a doctor and author about the way our brains can be different and why we may want to rethink how we approach the idea of mental health. That and more coming up in this half hour of Your Morning Atlantic.
Turning 7:31 if you're in the birds of Labrador. It's like magic.
It is really neat.
It is.
And I can't believe it's the last day of March.
It took a long time to get here.
The years?
Yeah.
And yet, that's so funny how time is, because here we are already at the end of March.
Yeah. quarter of the year gone.
Yeah, exactly.
2026.
Q1 goals we need to assess. We need to have a meeting at the board table.
Oh, yes. Yeah. How was our Q1?
Yeah. I mean, I moved back to Nova Scotia, so it was great for me.
You've had a big
You
Q1.
did have a big Q1, making big gains.
Big gains.
Yeah, I think it was a good Q1 too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to get to weather though. You know why? Because there's a lot happening in the, despite the weather forecast, the deck always looks gorgeous.
Always.
I've never seen a bad deck in bad deck.
No, not at all.
I haven't inspected them all, but
all right,
get
we're
there.
just on that point, we're gonna move on. Of course, it's a beautiful day in Bedeck as always. Beautiful sunny skies to start the day, although we will start to see increasing cloud cover because we are expecting a low pressure system to impact the region. As we take a look here, though, not too bad temperature-wise to start the day, except up in northern parts of Labrador, a little bit colder up there, wind chill values in effect as well. But as we take a look here, we do have some weather statements in effect for tonight into Wednesday morning, and we do have a number of alerts. So we do have an orange level alert, and we have some yellow level alerts as well. So that orange level is freezing rain, and the big thing here is that buildup of ice due to the freezing rain. That could cause some slippery conditions. That's going to hang on wires coming across, so just things to take into consideration. Power might be affected because of this freezing rain coming through. Much of the same in the central and southern portions of New Brunswick. We are seeing a yellow level alert for that, so a little bit less of an alert than the orange, but still something to take into consideration heading out the door on Wednesday morning. Now we are seeing significant snowfall for parts of Cape Breton as well, 20 to 25 centimeters of snow. And then over in Labrador, an extreme cold warning in effect as well. So early Wednesday morning, periods of very cold wind chills up to -45. So not a great start to April, but I will have a full forecast coming up in a little bit. For now, let's head over to Amanda for a look at news.
And we begin with another big increase for prices at the pumps in both Prince Edward Island and Nova Scotia as the conflict in the Middle East continues. In Nova Scotia Zone 1, gas increased by 7.1 cents. The minimum price now $1.82.9. And diesel in the Halifax area increased by nearly 11 cents. The minimum price now $2.46.7. In P.E.I, gas increased by over 8 cents a liter. The minimum price now $1.94.8. And diesel increased by nearly 19 cents. The minimum price now $2.56.3 a liter. Prices did not change in New Brunswick Monday night. P.E.I has become the first province in the country to lower the screening age for colorectal cancer to 45. The Premier made the announcement Monday, saying it's effective immediately. Several national health groups have noted recently the disease is increasingly showing up in younger people. Colorectal Cancer Canada and the Canadian Cancer Society are among those urging all provinces to drop the screening age to 45 from the current 50. Nova Scotia's Serious Incident Response Team is investigating after a man was struck and killed on a highway Saturday night, allegedly by an off-duty police officer from Bridgewater. CERT says the victim was walking along the side of Highway 103 when he was hit. Investigators do not believe alcohol was a factor, but say the investigation is ongoing. The assault case against the stepfather of the two missing Sullivan children has been pushed to May 4th. The lawyer for Daniel Martel requested more time to go through newly disclosed evidence, some just handed over in the last few days by the RCMP. No plea was entered and no testimony was heard. Martel did not appear in court. His lawyer attended on his behalf. He is charged with alleged assault, unlawful confinement, and sexual assault. There is a public ban on the identity of the alleged victim. Police insist it is not connected to the children's disappearance. The Sullivan siblings have been missing from their Pictou County home in Lansdowne Station since May 2nd of last year. Opposition parties in New Brunswick are offering their initial reactions to the results of a review on NB Power.
I don't see a whole lot of earth-shattering things here that's going to make anything all that better for ratepayers.
People will be disappointed that doesn't make strong recommendations that would make their power costs more affordable.
After a year of public consultation, the authors of a review on NB Power released 50 recommendations meant to stabilize the utility and make future rate increases predictable. However, the report offers no relief for customers expecting to see their bills go down. Instead, the panel says the provincial government should take over some of the utility's $6 billion debt to cover rate caps and freezes implemented by past provincial governments. The province's energy minister says government will act on the recommendations in a timely and transparent way, and that next steps will be announced by the end of May. The man in charge of Nova Scotia Power admits the utility has an image problem with its customers.
All I can tell you is I've spent the last month, and prior to that, 2 weeks beforehand, I went out to visit our plants, visit our depots, tour the province. I'm going to spend a lot of time listening to customers in all regions, and that's work that's already been happening before me, but I am going to continue it. And we are going to restore trust, and we are going to be transparent.
Vivek Sood assumed the top job at the beginning of the month. He was our guest last night on CTV News at 6. You can find the full interview on our website, ctvnewsatlantic.ca. Final preparations now underway for the launch of Artemis 2, NASA's latest moon mission. The space agency says everyone, including the 4 astronauts who are hoping to circle the moon for the first time in more than 5 decades, is ready to go.
I know that they're ready. They are more than ready. They can't wait to get off the ground.
The mission is set to launch as early as tomorrow, that is Wednesday, April 1st. Teams will continue to monitor weather conditions ahead of that launch window. Canadian Space Agency astronaut Jeremy Hansen, who will be the first non-American to venture beyond low Earth orbit, says the entire crew is keenly aware of the importance of the mission.
The other thing we've focused on quite a bit as a crew is just listening to other people's perspectives on the moon and how different cultures look at the moon. And when we go back, honoring just how humanity, we all share this same moon in the sky, but honoring humans around the world and how they revere the moon. That's really important to us.
So this will be the first crewed mission to the moon in more than 5 decades. So the Canadian is on board.
Hey.
And we will encourage you to tune into the show tomorrow too. So that's happening tomorrow night, hopefully if all goes well. But tomorrow morning on the show, we're going to bring in from St. Mary's University, Robert Thacker, who is basically our expert that we turn to when it comes to all things space. And he's going to tell us a bit more about the mission, the importance of it, what to expect, what to look for.
So cool.
Did you guys ever want to go to the moon?
Not go to the moon. Of course. No way.
No way. I knew that these answers would be these answers and that they would be drastically
What about you?
Yeah.
You'd love to go?
Wouldn't it be a great opportunity? How cool would it be?
In space.
Gosh, no.
Yeah.
Gosh,
Tethered.
No. Even the thought of it, just the panic of like not being able to get back to Earth and like being stuck.
Are you thinking like Interstellar?
I'm just thinking about, like, I don't really like tightly enclosed spaces, so I would not want
that would be rough. I wonder if they watched Project Hail Mary before they left.
Probably they did. I heard it's a great
Maybe.
movie. You saw it and you loved it.
The book was phenomenal, and then the movie was perfect.
Well, I love adventuring. I do. It's just like in a not enclosed space. We can have
in space.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so it's 7:10. This is cool. A Canadian photographer who also likes adventuring. He has something to brag about because his work made it to the cover of National Geographic. Look how beautiful it is. Shane Gross says he camped out in the Bahamas for days to snag the perfect shot of this rare species of seahorse. Gross has visited all 7 continents, taking photos with a focus on documenting underwater environments. His photo was on the cover of the February issue.
Whoa, look at the detail.
This is what I originally wanted to do when I got a journalism degree, was I wanted to be a nature photographer for National Geographic.
Wouldn't that be incredible?
Still got time, right?
You still have time.
Yes.
You just have the one great photo. Anyway, that's incredible.
You just need the one photo to make it all. Taken with my iPhone 6. Okay, still ahead this half hour, we'll have your look at your national, international news headlines, and also it is a look at the last forecast for the last day of March. Yeah, looks like the tide's out in Parsboro, Nova Scotia. Brienne lets us know about what's coming in when we return.
Welcome back. It is 7:14, 7:44 if you're in Newfoundland and parts of Labrador. And yep, we are going to be seeing some more wintry weather in our region. Now we're seeing mostly cloudy skies to start the day here in Somerville, but again, we are going to have a low pressure system moving into the region, bringing with it some mixed precipitation. We'll call it that for now. As we take a look here at our current temperatures, a little bit colder up in northern parts of New Brunswick. We are seeing warmer temperatures through central and southern parts. Across Nova Scotia, we're starting to see things cool down a little bit in the Yarmouth area. Of course, we are seeing that low pressure system moving in from western parts of Canada. So let's take a look here at our special weather statement. Yes, we do have that statement continuing into Wednesday. Significant snow, ice pellets, freezing rain. Like I said, pretty much a wintry mix, pretty much all types of precipitation coming through. We have an orange level alert. We have yellow level alerts. So we'll start with that orange level alert. Freezing rain overnight tonight into Wednesday. We are going to see a significant ice buildup for the freezing rain. So that could impact power lines as well as slippery road conditions. So something to really take into consideration heading out and about on Wednesday. If you don't have to go anywhere Wednesday morning, I suggest you stay home. As we take a look here at the yellow level alerts, again, that freezing rain really impacting through central and southern parts of New Brunswick. And then we are going to continue to see significant snowfall in Cape Breton. So about 20 to 25 centimeters of snow expected to accumulate overnight Tuesday into Wednesday morning. So we could see some school closures tomorrow as we head into Labrador, a cold warning as well in effect for the early morning. Wind chills near that minus 45-degree mark. Now, why are we seeing that? Well, that's because this system is pushing in from western parts of Canada, like I said, really going to be impacting through most of the Maritimes a little bit later this evening, and then hanging around throughout the course of tonight. So tonight into tomorrow, we are seeing that freezing rain, which is where we're seeing those yellow and orange level alerts. We're seeing snowfall and we're seeing rainfall. So again, that wintry mix hanging around throughout the majority of tonight into the early hours of Wednesday morning. Should start to see it clear a little bit later in the afternoon on Wednesday. As we take a look here at our current temperatures, again, those temperatures for today, we are seeing highs ranging between 1 and 5 degrees, a little bit warmer where that rain is coming, a little bit colder where that snow is going to be impacting. Over on the island, cooler conditions, and again, that snowfall coming through, cloudy conditions to start your day before we see some snow coming into the region. Heading over into Cape Breton and eastern parts of Nova Scotia, we're seeing that minus 1 to 4 degrees. Again, along the coastline, we're going to see more rain than snow. And then, of course, we are continuing to see a little bit of that wintry mix through the Amherst area. As we head over into western parts of Nova Scotia, warmer conditions, but again, that wintry mix going to be pushing in a little bit later this morning into the early hours of the afternoon. Sunny skies up in Labrador, but colder conditions. And then, of course, a low pressure system hanging around for Newfoundland. For now, let's head over to Amanda for your look at international and national headlines.
Thank you, Brianne. The conflict in the Middle East continues to jolt oil and gas prices, forcing some countries to come up with ways to reduce the pain at the pump. CTV's John Venevalley Rao examines what they're doing and whether Canada could do the same.
With drivers continuing to feel the squeeze, many worry the cost of that fill-up will keep on going up.
We have nothing to do with the war, but we're paying for it. Painful, you know?
In Toronto, gas is back above $1.70, and some hoping politicians will soon step in to offer some relief.
The gas is too expensive now. I don't like it, so I plan to change to the electric car now.
To drive down the pressure at the pumps, in some parts of Australia, states have made public transportation free. The country's tax on fuel and diesel is also being cut in half for 3 months.
We understand the cost pressures for people are very real as the impact of the war on the other side of the world plays out right here.
Italy's prime minister also moved to temporarily cut a consumer tax on fuel. And the Canadian Taxpayers Federation is pushing for governments to offer up the same here.
The least they could do would be to temporarily suspend their fuel taxes, but, they should be providing real full-time relief.
The group noting the federal government charges an excise tax of 10 cents per liter for gas, 4 cents per liter on diesel. Provinces have their own fuel taxes, and there's GST added.
Some of these taxes are very painful. If you look at places like Vancouver or Montreal, taxes are costing up to about 65 cents per liter of gasoline.
With the war in Iran now into its 5th week and oil prices again climbing, the federal finance minister was asked if the government would cut fuel taxes like Australia.
I mean, we're following the situation very carefully.
The minister wouldn't say, while noting Canada is increasing oil production.
Meanwhile, other countries like Spain, Portugal, and Ireland have also cut taxes on gas and diesel, at least temporarily. John Venevalley-Rouse, CTV News, Toronto.
Thank you, John. A quick break here on Your Morning Atlantic. When we return, Crystal will have a conversation regarding Neurodiversity Awareness Month. That is coming up on the other side of this break. Please stay with us.
Welcome back. It's 7:23. Now, tomorrow we enter Neurodiversity Awareness Month, and it's an opportunity to better understand what it means to be neurodivergent. And our next guest says it's also an opportunity to rethink how we define the concept of mental health. Here to tell us more is physician and best-selling author, Dr. Samra Zafar. Good morning, Dr. Zafar.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me. Nice and bright and early.
Indeed. Yes, indeed, especially for you. So what is Neurodiversity Awareness Month, and why does it matter?
So neurodiversity is about recognizing the differences in how our brains function. Things like ADHD, autism, dyslexia, these are natural variations. They're not defects. And I think, a lot of times people get caught up in these labels that something is wrong with them, when in reality, they have just never been supported in the right way and in the way that they need. So it really matters because we've historically defined mental health with a very narrow idea about what is normal. And that excludes a lot of people who are actually functioning well, but they're just functioning differently, and there's nothing wrong with it. So it's really important to create awareness that we all have our own versions of normal.
So let's dig into this a little bit. You're a psychiatrist, so you see people coming into your office. You're saying people are often wanting to have that label. What are you seeing, actually? Tell us more about that.
Yes, people want a diagnosis because it gives them legitimacy. It validates what they've always been feeling because they've always spent their life trying to fit in a quote unquote normal sort of life. And this is a conversation I have with my daughters all the time too. Like just last night, my daughter was like, why can't I just be normal? And I said, what is normal, right? So we see things portrayed on social media. Oh, is that normal? We see things on TV. Is that normal? But honestly, like we all have our own variations. We all have our own quirks. We all think and feel differently in some way, shape, or form. So the more divergent you are from the quote unquote societal normal, the more you feel like you need some kind of a label to legitimize the way you think and feel. So someone with ADHD, for instance, may struggle in rigid or high-structured environments, but they may thrive in dynamic and fast-paced settings. So when we push people to fit into a mold, we risk pathologizing the differences that are not inherently harmful at all.
Interesting. So how would you like to see things change, maybe societally or in your profession?
Yes, it's really important to, first of all, recognize both the strengths and the challenges, not just the deficits. So our approach to mental health needs to shift from asking, how do we make people fit into the system? And but instead, we need to be asking, how do we build systems that support different kinds of minds? So in clinical practice, that means we take more of a person-centered approach, a patient-centered approach. So not just focusing on symptoms, but on strengths, environment, supports, and context. Like how can we create systems and workplaces and our care in the healthcare system that we actually put the patient at the center rather than a normal narrative at the center and try to fit the patient into that mold. So for instance, in the workplace or the school environment, that might mean flexible work or school structures, sensory accommodations, different communication styles. So the goal is not to make someone appear normal, but to help them function and thrive as who they are.
Interesting. We've only got about 20 seconds left, Dr. Zafar. So maybe advice to people out there who think that they may need to see their physician, any advice about the questions they should ask to make sure that they get the right diagnosis, or the right advice.
So if you're going in for yourself, try to ask your physician, what I'm experiencing is not really causing me distress. However, there are these labels that everybody seems to think I should go for. And so is this really a disorder or not? Because not if something doesn't cause you distress or something doesn't functionally impair you, that is not a disorder. So also, if you're a parent, a teacher, employer, ask what does that person need to thrive, not just to fit in. Ask them, they may need a different environment. And if you've been made to feel like you are too much or not enough, it may not be you. It may just be the lack of the supportive systems around you. Well, so, think of yourself like mental health is about the ability to function and live authentically and feel understood, safe, and supported as who you are.
Well, Dr. Zafar, thank you so much for these words this morning. Super helpful.
Thank you so much.
And we put a link to Dr. Zafar's website on ours. We're going to now take a break. We'll be back with more of our show right after this. It's currently 7:28.
Warmer weather is ahead, we promise. Coming up this half hour, Spring Decor Refresh. Our partner and designer, Steven Sapados, will join us to share his favorite affordable spring pieces from Walmart. That's coming up in 15 minutes on Your Morning Atlantic.
Welcome to you. Join us. We're halfway through the show already, and it's our very last day of March. Ever so closer to that nice spring, warm weather. I know that we got
in the forecast.
Well, that's not yet. But what is in the forecast? But more winter. I'm taking that's a winter face.
No joke for April 1st, right?
No, it's not a joke, unfortunately. Kaylin Mitchell will confirm that later on today. As we take a look here at Yarmouth, beautiful day to start the day. Of course, we are going to see increasing cloud cover, and then, like the lady said, yes, more of that wintry mix. It's on its way. So basically what we have in store is every type of precipitation coming through. So we do have a special weather statement in effect with significant snow, ice pellets, freezing rain, as well as rain coming through the region. We have an orange level alert. We have a couple yellow level alerts. So starting with that orange level alert, we have freezing rain overnight tonight into Wednesday with significant ice buildup due to freezing rain. So that's going to cause some concerns to start Wednesday morning. The yellow levels, so a little bit less of a level with the yellow, however, still significant to note that it is going to continue to be a slippery one out there, as well as significant snowfall coming for parts of Cape Breton. So 20 to 25 centimeters of snow. Wednesday morning, we will see wind chills of -45 throughout parts of Labrador. So again, a cold start to the day. So we're not quite done with winter yet. And as we take a look here at our current winds, mostly impacting throughout most of Newfoundland, a little bit into Cape Breton as well. And then we are seeing significant gusting winds still along that coastline in Newfoundland. Of course, I'll have a full look at that weather coming up in just a bit. For now, let's head over to Amanda for a look at news.
Thanks, Brianne. And there was another big increase for prices at the pumps in both Nova Scotia and Prince Edward Island as the conflict in the Middle East continues. In Nova Scotia, Zone 1, gas increased by 7.1 cents. The minimum price now $1.82.9 a litre. And diesel in the Halifax area increased by nearly 11 cents. The minimum price now $2.46.7. In Prince Edward Island, gas increased by 8.2 cents. The minimum price $1.94.8. And diesel increased by 13.8. The minimum price now $2.56.3 a litre. Prices did not change in New Brunswick Monday night. P.E.I. has become the first province in the country to lower the screening age for colorectal cancer to 45. The Premier made the announcement Monday, saying it's effective immediately. Several national health groups have noted recently the disease is increasingly showing up in younger people. Colorectal Cancer Canada and the Canadian Cancer Society are among those urging all provinces to drop the screening age to 45 from the current 50. A Cape Breton man who lost 4 family members in an impaired driving crash in Quebec back in 2021 is outraged. The man who caused the crash is getting some freedom to visit family.
They told us that they would make an example of this man for killing 4 people. But yet now the same system is slapping me in the face.
David Fletcher's family, his father and sister, along with a niece and nephew, were killed in an impaired driving crash in Beauport, Quebec. Eric Laguerre was sentenced to 15 years in jail and a 25-year driving ban, one of the stiffest penalties in the province's history for a DUI causing death. Now he's been granted temporary absences from prison to visit family members. The Parole Board of Canada says Laguerre's behavior while in custody and the fact he has shown some remorse justifies the decision. Conditions include that he not consume drugs or alcohol and have any contact with the victim's family. After a year of public consultation, the authors of a review on NB Power are promising major changes to come, but no relief for customers expecting to see their bills go down. Here is CTV's Nick Moore.
We're very pleased to offer you our 50 recommendations directed at government and NB Power.
But the panel that was appointed to review NB Power says there is nothing in their recommendations that will make utility rates go down, which is what prompted the review in the first place. Instead, the panel says their recommendations are meant to stabilize NB Power and make future rate increases predictable.
People want stronger performance and cost control, often blaming NB Power for everything.
When the panel was announced by the provincial government, Premier Susan Holt said every option was on the table, including the idea of selling or privatizing the utility. The panel says going that route could make things even more dire for ratepayers.
You will either get a price that is probably not acceptable to New Brunswick's for the value of the assets, or that you'll, on the flip side, privatization require significantly higher rates than are currently the situation. So in both scenarios, that does not seem to be a good outcome.
Within the 50 recommendations, the panel says the provincial government should take over some of the utility's $6 billion debt to cover rate caps and freezes implemented by past provincial governments. On Point Lepreau, the panel says an assessment should begin for an additional large-scale nuclear plant on the site.
Relationship between, let me call it Point Lepreau Nuclear and NB Power should be more contractual than it is governance, if I can say it that way.
Opposition parties offering their initial reactions to the review released this afternoon.
I don't see a whole lot of earth-shattering things here that's going to make anything all that better for ratepayers.
People will be disappointed that it doesn't make strong recommendations that would make their power costs more affordable.
Energy Minister Renee Legacy issued a statement after the review was released, saying the provincial government will act on the recommendations in what he called a timely and transparent way, and that the next steps will be announced by the end of May. Nick Moore, CTV News, Fredericton.
Thank you, Nick. Some money matters there, and that takes us to the Move Morning Chat, because we're taking it way back. We're asking, what was minimum wage at your first job? Let us know how much you got paid if you don't mind sharing it with us.
Dad texted me $1.65.
$1.65. What was his first part-time job?
He cleaned dishes at the hospital.
Wow, that's hard work.
That is tough work. Good on him.
So we want to know what you did and how much you made.
Text us at 10400. We want to know how a nice little roundup at the end of the show.
It's true, too. Okay, I know it's technically the beginning of spring, but with the forecast with Brianne, not really looking like it. Well, I mean, I guess maybe for early spring, but we're going to talk about romantic spring. We're going to look ahead to when the weather's going to be really nice and talking about refreshing your space for the new season. Designer Steven Sabados will join us to share some of his favorite and inexpensive pieces for your home. That's coming up.
Good morning, Charlottetown. 7:42, 8:12 here in Newfoundland and parts of Labrador. That sun's starting to rise, although we are seeing a little bit of a cloudier start to the day, and that's pretty much going to be the name of the game this morning before we see some wet weather moving itself into our region. So as we take a look here at our current temperatures, we are continuing to see a little bit warmer temperatures as we head throughout the morning. Of course, we are seeing those above freezing temperatures for most of New Brunswick. as well as Prince Edward Island and Nova Scotia. A little bit colder up in northern parts. We are seeing colder conditions up in Newfoundland as well as into Labrador, but we do have some weather statements in effect, and that's because we have a low pressure system moving in. So tonight into Wednesday morning, we're going to see significant snow, ice pellets, freezing rain, as well as some rain coming through, although that's not part of the weather statement. We do have an orange level alert as well as a couple yellow level alerts. So significant freezing rain in this area of Nova Scotia heading overnight into the early hours of Wednesday morning. So buildup of ice is going to be the main concern as we head throughout the day on Wednesday, especially as you start your day. So if you do have to go out and about, take that into consideration. Really slippery conditions are going to be out there from this freezing rain, and we are going to continue to see that, but it's a less of an alert, down to a yellow level alert for parts of New Brunswick, but still there are some concerns there, especially with slippery conditions and that buildup of ice on wires as well. As we head over into Cape Breton Island, we're seeing significant snowfall overnight, about 20 to 25 centimeters in the Cheticap area. So again, if you do have to get out and about tomorrow, make sure you're taking that into consideration. And then it's going to be very, very cold as you start your Wednesday in parts of Labrador. So wind chills near that minus 45-degree mark. Now, looking at this system as we head into the early hours this morning, we are seeing some rain impacting into parts of Nova Scotia as we head through the morning. But the most significant of this system is going to start to push in a little bit later this afternoon. So we are seeing, like I said, that mixed precipitation. So snow up in northern parts of New Brunswick, some freezing rain along that central and southern portion, and then rain coming through as well. So that's going to hang on throughout the night into the early hours of Wednesday morning. We're still going to see that significant walloping of this system into Wednesday morning. So that's when we're going to see the majority of this system. As we take a look at our temperatures for today, we're ranging from 5 to 1 degree. Again, that mix of precipitation coming through depending on where you are. Over on Prince Edward Island, between 0 degrees and 2. And again, some scattered flurries a little bit later this afternoon. Over on Cape Breton Island, -1 to 4 in parts of Nova Scotia. Now, again, that wintry mix, a little bit warmer along that coastline. So we're going to see some rainfall in those areas. And then, of course, western parts of Nova Scotia, significantly warmer, and that's where we'll see the majority of rain, but we could see a little bit of that mix of freezing rain in there as well. Heading over into Newfoundland and Labrador, we are seeing sunny skies but colder temperatures. And then, of course, as we head down into Newfoundland, we are going to continue to see that wintry mix, a little bit warmer temperatures, but messy conditions, so not quite spring weather yet, Crystal.
Oh, Brienne, we hear what you're saying. We paid attention. We know we're prepared for the weather, but we are thinking about nicer weather ahead because Mother Nature may have decided she's still got chilly weather in store for us, but we know spring is on the way eventually. And while we may have to wait for the outside to warm up, we can bring the new season into our homes right now. Our partner and designer, Stephen Sabados, is here to share tips on refreshing our spaces without blowing the budget. Good morning, Stephen.
Good morning, Crystal. How are you?
I'm great. Always great to see you. And I love what you've done with your place. Tell us about this.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, you know, spring is almost here. We have hope. We're almost there. We're almost there. So what I'm going to say, when you're decorating your backyard or your patio, start with a theme or a color scheme just to make it that much easier and that much more cohesive. And here I went with tropical as my theme, and I was sort of channeling the hit TV series White Lotus. And who doesn't love Hotel Chic? I know.
We're there with you, Stephen.
And I got everything here from Walmart, so you know it's unbeatable prices, which is fantastic. So some of the biggest things first to purchase are your furniture. So I got this patio chair and set from Better Homes and Gardens, and I absolutely love this wicker because it looks like rope almost, but it actually is a resin. So it's perfect for the outdoors, so you have no worry about that. And then the next thing I got was a scalloped umbrella. So on trend, the scalloped umbrella. And the thing I love about this is that it does have that sort of that really chic hotel vibe as well with the umbrella. And the blue sort of like ties it in and really gives us that feeling. Now, one thing I did love is I did find this little pillow with the scalloped edge. And I love when things match. Okay.
Yes.
Again, it's those little attention to details. You're like, oh, wow, that all ties in. Again, we're thinking hotel chic, right? Last but not least, for the larger pieces, I went with this area rug I absolutely love. It's a lotus pattern rug. Again, perfect for the theme, lotus. And again, in the blue. So our color scheme is all in the blues and everything is going to tie in.
It's just Beautiful. I really love that old kind of scalloped umbrella is back in style because it reminds me of chic resorts from a more elegant time.
Back in the 70s, 60s, I know this was the big thing, which was really, really cool. So again, fantastic on trend, and again, great, great, great price.
Okay, where do we want to go now? I understand there's some new concepts in lighting you wanted to talk about.
Oh, but first let's talk about entertainment.
Oh my gosh, please, let's bring on the entertaining.
So for entertaining, you want to have something with no fuss, no muss. And the first thing I got was this large bowl set, which I absolutely love. And again, the nice thing is that it has these little compartments that fit into a larger one. So literally, you could have like 5 or 6 different serving trays all in one for crudités, dips, you name it. The next thing, this has to be on this entire little setup I did, my favorite thing, were these little banana leaf platters. I absolutely love these. They're made out of melamine and bamboo, which is fantastic. And just as decor alone, if they're just sitting on your table, they're super chic. Again, really, really great price. I already bought 4 of these. They're going to fly off the shelf, so grab them now. The next thing, large buckets, obviously, for grab-and-go drinks. The next thing I want to say with these little decanters, you know when you're at the poolside in a beautiful resort, and they always have huge decanters with lemon water?
Yes.
Or do that for your guests. And, you know, so inexpensive, so great. Line up a whole bunch, maybe some even with cocktails. And these little grab-and-go stations are so, so easy. And again, really effective for that theme that we're trying to do.
I call that spotter, like spa water.
Yes.
We only have a few seconds left, Stephen, but I know you wanted to get to lighting.
Yeah, lighting's so important. And these I found they're just great. They're solar LED lights. They're dimmable. They have 3 different temperatures. $19.98. These are going to fly off the shelves. Because again, you know when you go to those high-end hotels and everything's just lit so beautifully.
Yes.
This is the kind of light that you want. And again, $19.98. You can't beat it. Walmart.ca or go into a Walmart store and grab them now. I already got 4 of those as well. So I'm buying them all up.
Your eye, Stephen, unmatched. Thank you so much for these great suggestions. And yes, I know that I just checked out the website. You're going to want to snap this stuff up soon because it's going to go.
Absolutely. Thank you, Crystal.
Thank you. All right, we're going to turn our attention now over to health and medical news with Amanda Debison.
Thanks, you too. A large new study estimates more than 250,000 people worldwide die from meningitis a year. It's one of the topics in your health. Children accounted for 1/3 of the deaths, many of which were in Africa. That's according to research published in the journal Lancet Neurology, which described itself as the most comprehensive global assessment of meningitis yet. It comes after meningitis made international headlines when 2 people died during an outbreak believed to have spread at a nightclub in southeast England earlier this month. Meningitis is an inflammation of tissues around the brain and spinal cord caused by infection with a range of different viruses, bacteria, fungi, or parasites. Bacterial infections are more rare and more deadly than viral ones. It was a bacterial infection outbreak in the English county of Kent that prompted more than 10,000 people to get vaccinated in the area over the last 2 weeks. Finally, here's some sweet news for chocolate lovers. New research finds that dark chocolate may have real health benefits. In a study of more than 1,600 adults, higher levels of a natural cocoa compound were linked to signs of slightly slower aging based on a series of DNA tests. Experts say this does not necessarily mean eating chocolate slows aging, but it does add to growing research showing that cocoa compounds can offer positive health effects. Past studies suggest that dark chocolate and cocoa are good for the heart and improve vascular health, including circulation and blood pressure. Other research suggests cocoa may help raise good cholesterol and support brain function and memory, especially as we age. But experts are reminding people chocolate is still a treat. It contains sugar, fat, and lots of calories, so moderation matters.
We have just one milestone to pass along today, but it's a big one. It's a 67th anniversary for Stuart and Rose Daly of Pictou, Nova Scotia.
Oh, I wonder if that's a picture of their renewal of vows.
It looks like it might be.
Well, congratulations, Daly. 67 years married. What an accomplishment. Now, to see your milestone again or find out how to submit one, visit our website by scanning the QR code on your screen. And a reminder, milestones must be received at least 2 weeks in advance.
So the countdown is on for Wednesday's liftoff from NASA's Artemis II mission.
4 astronauts, including Canada's Jeremy Hansen, are set to blast off and fly around the moon. CTV's Heather Wright has more on the mission.
After years of planning and preparation, Artemis II is now T-minus 2 days until launch.
The vehicle's ready, the system is ready, the crew is ready.
The crew will be making history once this mission begins. Among the members, the first woman, first Black man, and first Canadian to travel to deep space.
We were very fortunate through efforts by the Canadian Space Agency, right, to secure a position for our Canadian astronaut on this mission. And it's fantastic for Canada.
While this will be the first crewed mission to the moon since Apollo 17 in 1972, the goal is not just to get to the moon, it's to go beyond.
The ambitions now are much greater, right? This is the first step to a larger program that will ultimately go on to Mars.
Alexander MacDonald is the former chief economist at NASA and a Canadian. He says Canada has an opportunity to play a leadership role in the future of space exploration, but that will require more investment. Canada significantly lags its peers when it comes to spending on space.
If we want that to change, then we need to make that a priority. I personally think we should, and I think the opportunities that would result from that would be very significant, both for jobs, for education, for opportunities for talented Canadians to excel.
NASA plans to drastically ramp up its lunar program with the goal of at least 1 moon landing per year by 2028 and the construction of a moon base by 2030.
Behind this flight stands a campaign. Landings, a lunar base, a nuclear propulsion into deep space. That begins, not ends, with what happens on Wednesday evening.
And in a first for a lunar mission, anyone who wants to will be able to track the entire 10-day mission from their phone, including the location of the spacecraft, its velocity, and distance from Earth. Heather Wright, CTV News, Cape Canaveral, Florida.
Well, back here on our atmospheric plane, we are seeing some wet weather coming through. Yes, we are going to see a low pressure system moving into the region, bringing with it some snow, some ice, some rain as well. So that's going to continue into Wednesday morning. We will continue to see some temperatures dip as we head later into the day when things start to clear up, and then a mix of sun and cloud for Thursday. Highs of 5 degrees. Over on Nova Scotia, again, much of that same weather, mostly that rain as well as freezing rain. Could see a few flurries as well scattered this afternoon into the early hours of this evening. That's going to hang on into Wednesday, and then Thursday we will see a mix of sun and cloud. Could see a continued chance of snow for parts of the region. Now heading over on to Prince Edward Island. Those snowy conditions continuing this afternoon into Wednesday, clearing Wednesday afternoon into a mix of sun and cloud on Thursday. Stay with us.
It's the last day of March, the 31st. Today on Your Morning Atlantic, another big increase for prices at the pumps in both Nova Scotia and P.E.I. We'll have the numbers just ahead in your local news.
And 20 years of helping cats find their forever homes. We'll chat with the local cat rescue about their work and how they're celebrating 2 decades of making a difference. That's ahead in Pet Talk on Your Morning Atlantic.
We have reached the last day for the month of May. Because it rhymes so well, but no, not at all. March. End of March, April 1st tomorrow, April Fool's Day, so be on the lookout for that. But when it comes to the weather for tomorrow, Brianne, it is no joke, and it really is a messy mix that we have too.
Quite a bit happening.
Yes. An indoor day tomorrow.
An indoor day, definitely an indoor day for those who celebrate inside.
So for those who celebrate April Fool's Day inside.
Absolutely. Definitely want to stay indoors, especially as you head into the evening and into tomorrow morning, like Amanda said. But not a bad start to the day. We are seeing significant cloud cover as we head throughout our morning, and then we are going to see a system basically wallop
us as we head throughout the course of this afternoon into this evening. So starting our day, warmer temperatures through most of Nova Scotia as well as the southern portion of New Brunswick onto Prince Edward Island as well. Cold temperatures up in Labrador to start the day. But the big news, yes, we have some weather statements. So we do have a statement in effect tonight into Wednesday. Significant snow, ice pellets, and freezing rain coming our way. Yes, all of those fun wintry words you don't want to hear as we head into April. And then we see an orange level alert as well as a couple of yellow level alerts. So we'll start with the orange one, the most significant one. So we are seeing freezing rain overnight tonight into Wednesday morning that could bring significant ice buildup. So that's just a concern, especially on the roads, but as well as on wires. And so that could impact power in the area, something to take into consideration as we head over night into tomorrow morning. Again, a yellow level alert for freezing rain impacting most of central New Brunswick as we head overnight and into tomorrow. Again, that significant ice buildup as well. We do have that snowfall warning overnight into tomorrow. 20 to 25 centimeters for parts of Cape Breton, and then a yellow level cold warning for parts of Labrador. So wind chills between that minus 45 degree mark. So just takes that into consideration if you do have to get out and about early tomorrow morning, because it is going to be a very, very cold start to your day. I'll have more on the weather in just a bit, but for now, let's head over to Amanda for a look at news.
And you'll have to dig deeper if you are filling up your vehicle at gas stations around here. There was another big increase for prices for both diesel and gas at pumps in both Nova Scotia and P.E.I. as the conflict in the Middle East continues. In Nova Scotia Zone 1, gas increased by 7.1 cents. The minimum price now $1.82.9. And diesel in the Halifax area increased by nearly 11 cents. The minimum price now $2.46.7. And in Prince Edward Island, gas increased by 8.2 cents. The minimum price now $1.94.8. And diesel increased by 13.8. The minimum price $2.56.3 a liter. Prices did not change in New Brunswick Monday night. P.E.I. has become the first province in the country to lower the screening age for colorectal cancer to 45. The Premier made the announcement Monday, saying it's effective immediately. Several national health groups have noted recently the disease is increasingly showing up in younger people. Colorectal Cancer Canada and the Canadian Cancer Society are among those urging all provinces to drop the screening age to 45 from the current 50. Nova Scotia's Serious Incident Response Team is investigating after a man was struck and killed on a highway Saturday night, allegedly by an off-duty police officer from Bridgewater. CERT says the victim was walking along the side of Highway 103 when he was hit. Investigators do not believe alcohol was a factor, but say the investigation is ongoing. The assault case against the stepfather of the two missing Sullivan children has been pushed to May 4th. The lawyer for Daniel Martel requested more time to go through newly disclosed evidence, some just handed over in the last few days by the RCMP. No plea was entered and no testimony was heard. Martel did not appear in court. His lawyer attended on his behalf. He is charged with alleged assault, unlawful confinement, and sexual assault. There is a public ban on the identity of the alleged victim. Police insist it is not connected to the children's disappearance. The Sullivan siblings have been missing from their Pictou County home in Lansdowne Station since May 2nd of last year. Another setback for that private company that hoped to infill part of Dartmouth Cove for a development project. In a statement yesterday afternoon, the Minister of Fisheries and Oceans said she would not approve the project because it would, quote, permanently destroy local marine life and fish habitat. There is no benefit to the community, said Joanne Thompson. It's infilling for the sake of infilling. The company had planned to dump truckloads of pyritic slate into the water for future development, but there's been steady pushback from area residents and HRM Council. The company behind the plan says it's already working on a lawsuit against the minister and a local MP for alleged political interference. Tributes continue to pour in for a maritime hockey icon and trailblazer. Bill Riley of Amherst passed away on Sunday at the age of 75 after a long illness. He was just the third black player in the NHL and the first black NHL player from Nova Scotia. Riley suited up with the Washington Capitals and Winnipeg Jets. At a rink in his hometown, a longtime friend remembers what he did as a junior coach there.
Billy didn't believe that his championship team with the Mariners were properly recognized, so he bought them all championship rings.
Bill Riley epitomized that era of the American Hockey League. Skilled, gritty character player, throwback player, and what he did for the game of hockey in this region will leave a lasting legacy.
Riley was also a big part of Moncton's hockey community, winning the Calder Cup with the New Brunswick Hawks in 1982 and becoming the first ever head coach for the Moncton Wildcats. Family and friends from all over North America are expected to come to Nova Scotia to say their goodbyes. Finally, overseas, a 3-month-old southern white rhino calf and 2 4-month-old giraffe calves took their first steps outdoors at the largest zoo in the UK. I don't know what's cuter, the rhino or the giraffes, but here's the rhino calf, Mick, born at the end of December, was seen racing around the paddock by her mother's side, as the giraffe siblings, Leonie and Duke, they were born 3 weeks apart, galloped around the grassy knolls. All 3 calves will join conservation breeding programs for their species at the zoo.
I love how cute. Their faces are so beautiful.
I know. So beautiful. Rhinos just remind me of dinosaurs, and I think that's why I like rhinos so much.
Well, who knew they could be so playful?
Right?
Look at them go.
So spunky.
Yay.
Show me the ropes, Ma.
Love it. And that's at the Whipsnade Zoo. We love the Whipsnade Zoo.
We do.
Fun name, fun place.
Yep.
Okay.
Sounds like a grand old time.
It does, the Whipsnade Zoo. All right, this is in Vancouver, a group of highly fashionable dogs strutting their stuff recently at a pet parade.
Oh, boy.
So let's go. The Cherry Blossom Pet Parade. It's the first time they did this, but I bet they're going to do it again because there was a great turnout.
Oh.
Pets of all varieties were invited to show up and celebrate the fleeting beauty of the blossoms. Nice to see these signs of spring arriving in other parts of Canada, but it was a gray day there too.
It's always a gray day.
But look at the blossoms in the background. That's coming, people.
There are trees in the background? I couldn't even...
Wait, I know you weren't looking at them.
Oh, my goodness.
I know.
I'm going to see that beautiful golden retriever in the wagon.
What's the next dog? Next going to be a poodle. That's my guess.
Dog, okay. What are we going to
make your guesses after we get...
no next dog. No next dog.
We
just the basset.
end on the basset hound.
Who doesn't love a basset, though?
They're cute. Their tails are very strong.
They are.
They've been whipped in the leg by a basset hound. You will know what I'm talking about.
Once or twice.
Talk about the Whipsnade Zoo.
Oh, boy. Okay. Yeah, that'd be pretty cute.
Okay, this is really important, actually. A reminder to submit your legal questions for our next Legal Insider segment. They are coming in. We've got some great ones, but send them by text or email, and the Mike Murphy Law Group may choose to answer your question. If you're curious about a topic related to law in Atlantic Canada, there's no doubt others are too, so send it in. We're looking forward to hearing from you.
Yeah. Okay, that's great. Operators are standing by.
Exactly.
We're the operators.
We are.
Indeed.
Okay, still ahead this half hour, we will chat with an organization that's been helping cats find forever homes for 2 decades. But first, it's the latest look at the Tuesday forecast, the last forecast for March of this year. Brienne has those details. The bunnies, they heard the forecast, and they're staying inside and staying cozy. You will too, next.
Good morning, Truro. 8:13, 8:43. If you are in Newfoundland and parts of Labrador, and not looking like a terrible day to start the day. We are seeing significant cloud cover across the region. It's this afternoon that we're going to have to watch out for, because we are having some weather coming through. Yes, we have a low pressure system en route. As we take a look here at current temperatures, we are seeing cooler temperatures up in northern parts of New Brunswick, which means that is most likely going to have some snow coming across with this system. Warmer temperatures through central as well as southern portions. We're going to see a little bit of a mix of rain and freezing rain, and we are going to see similar conditions in most of Nova Scotia as well. We do have a weather statement in effect, so Tuesday night continuing into Wednesday morning, we are going to see significant snow, ice pellets, and freezing rain. And we also have an orange level alert as well as a couple of yellow level alerts as well. So we'll start with that orange level. So the more significant level, we are going to continue to see freezing rain overnight into Wednesday, and we could see significant ice buildup due to that freezing rain. So definitely something to consider if you do have to head out and about tomorrow morning, because you are going to see some slippery conditions out there. As we go into yellow level alerts, we are going to continue to see that freezing rain warning pretty much throughout most of central New Brunswick. And that's going to continue into the early hours of Wednesday as well. Again, that significant ice buildup. So that's the main concern with that freezing rain coming through. Some cooler temperatures overnight. We're going to see some slippery conditions. Now, as we head into Cape Breton, we are seeing some snowfall overnight, about 20 to 25 centimeters of snow. So again, lots of snow, still winter coming through for Cape Breton. As we head into Labrador, we are seeing some colder conditions. So minus 45 wind chill values is what we're expecting for early Wednesday morning. Again, bundle up if you do have to get out and about. So what are we experiencing this morning? Well, we are starting to see that low pressure system move itself into the region. Most significantly is going to be a little bit later this afternoon into the early hours of this evening. We're starting to see some of that snow, some freezing rain, as well as some rain coming through. But it is going to be tonight that we're really going to get the majority of this system coming through. So as we head into the early hours of Wednesday morning, you can see we're pretty much blanketed there with this system hanging around into the early hours of Wednesday morning. Not looking like it's going to stop anytime soon. We are going to continue to see it for the course of Wednesday. But for today, we have temperatures ranging between 1 and 4 degrees. Again, warmer down in the southern portion of New Brunswick, so we'll see more rain. Some colder conditions up top, so we'll see more flurries in that area. Heading on to Prince Edward Island, a mix of flurries and rain coming through, minus 1 to 2 degrees. Over in Cape Breton, as well as eastern parts of Nova Scotia, minus 1 to 4 degrees. Again, warmer along that coastline, so that's where we're going to see the majority of rainfall. Over in western parts of Nova Scotia, we are seeing temperatures range from 5 to 7 degrees. Again, some more significant rainfall, could see some freezing rain at times. And then as we head over into Newfoundland and Labrador, we are seeing cooler conditions, but sunny skies up in Labrador. And then that system impacting throughout most of Newfoundland for today. Time now to head over to Amanda for a look at national and international headlines.
Thank you, Brianne. And we are looking ahead to the FIFA World Cup. Today, we'll find out who Canada will face in their tournament opener in Toronto on June 12th. Meantime, the Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre is warning people about fraud schemes tied to the upcoming tournament when it comes to tickets, travel, or accommodations. For more on this, we bring in CTV's Scott Hurst. So, Scott, can you begin with breaking down tournament highlights for us?
Good morning, Amanda. So the calendars have already been marked, circled in red pen, at least for Canadian fans, knowing that the men's soccer team will kick off the World Cup on June 12th in Toronto, but we've been still waiting to find out their opponent, and it'll be a fascinating story either way. We'll find that out later today. A match between Italy and Bosnia and Herzegovina will then face the winner of that. Will face Canada on that opener on the 12th. Of course, there's a huge Italian-Canadian population. Maybe they'll be struggling to decide who they should cheer for. On the other hand, Bosnia and Herzegovina will be quite an underdog story. So we'll find out later today. The winner of that will play Canada on that opening match Friday, June 12th in Toronto. We know Toronto hosts 6 games overall. 7 will be hosted in Vancouver. And if you're still hoping to be part of the experience, soccer fans have one last chance to snag tickets. Starting tomorrow at 11 a.m., FIFA will launch its last-minute final sales phase to the general public. So if you guys are looking for tickets specifically for the Toronto games, I've got a spare bedroom. It can help keep the costs down.
Okay. Honestly, we're probably going to have some viewers reach out to you now, Scott, because you offered that up. Bear Timers will take you up on it. On a serious note, you mentioned tickets going on sale a little bit later tomorrow. What can you tell us about the Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre's warning on fraud schemes? We don't want to be spending our money on giving it to scammers.
Of course, anytime we know there's a big event with a lot of interest. Fraudsters are also looking to take advantage. We're talking tickets, travel, and accommodation. And the warning is coming from the Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre and policing partners, including Toronto and Vancouver Police, OPP, and RCMP. So the Anti-Fraud Centre is currently tracking frauds, it says, related to fraudulent ticket sales, short-term rental fraud, the sale of counterfeit goods, and fraudulent travel services as well, if you're looking to get to any of these World Cup host cities. So the best advice to protect yourself includes buying tickets only through the FIFA ticket sales. Be wary of listings that require urgent payments, or of course that classic line, if the price is too good to be true, it probably is. Verify short-term rentals if you can, and when possible, use your credit card because they can often offer fraud protection. So just a few ways to make sure you don't get scammed in trying to be a part of the FIFA World Cup.
Okay, that's some good advice there. Scott, thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thanks, Amanda.
CTV Scott Hurst reporting live for us from our national newsroom in Toronto. A quick break here on Your Morning Atlantic. When we return, it is Pet Talk, and we're putting the focus on a cat rescue organization that's marking a big milestone. That's coming up next.
Move Mornings with Aaron and Peter. Weekday mornings on Move 100. The most fun in the morning. And home of the $1,000 minute. Only on Move 100 Halifax.
Welcome back. It's 8:23. In this week's edition of Pet Talk, we're putting the focus on a milestone for a cat rescue organization in Dartmouth. Healing Scars is marking 20 years of kitty adoptions, plus feral and stray cat trap and release services. Here to tell us more about what they do and upcoming events is founder Sonia Higgins with Healing Animal Scars Cat Rescue. Thank you so much for coming in, Sonia.
Thank you very much for having myself and Hobbit on the show today.
This is Hobbit. We should probably introduce Hobbit now, because Hobbit is enjoying the kitty lick right now, but maybe he needs to go back in his little cage.
Yeah, so Hobbit is a little boy who's about 4 or 5 months old. He came to us from a farm in New Germany where he had a major gaping abscess wound on his side. He needed immediate medical intervention or he might have not made it. So luckily, with veterinary care and lots of TLC, he has become very strong and healthy and friendly. And we already have a home lined up, so he's no longer available for adoption.
Well, he's gorgeous. And just where your hand is, Sonia, right in this area, is where the abscess was.
There was a big,
is incredible.
It was such a deep wound that we had to do x-rays to ensure it wasn't something notorious like a BB gun shot or something. But no, that's from the wound from another animal attacking him.
It just goes to show you what good care in the nick of time can do. Yes. And I'm glad Hobbit's already found a home. Let's talk about your work in healing. You've been finding healing animals, providing homes for them for 20 years now.
Yes, starting in May, we will be celebrating our 20th anniversary. When people ask how long I've been doing it, sometimes I joke and say, since God was young. So there will always be a need for people to rescue cats as long as people don't spay and neuter their pets.
Okay.
So we have all of our cats spayed and neutered prior to adoption, and we also have microchips inserted. So we're here to discuss an upcoming event that we will be hosting on April 12th at April Vets Dartmouth Crossing. And it's a microchip clinic where for only $30 you can have your cat, dog, or rabbit microchipped. And what that entails is a chip is inserted under the skin with a needle, and then we would scan it with a microchip reader to ensure it's inserted properly and register the information for the owner with the microchip company. And I can demonstrate in a moment how to do that with my microchip
for sure.
reader.
We're just seeing pictures of Hobbit going through.
He's so handsome.
Yeah, these obviously
in our rescue room
worked because Hobbit's already got a home.
Yes, Healing Animal Scars interviews people thoroughly to ensure that their cats will be kept inside, taken to the vet. So we look for the best of best homes, and he's going to be adopted with another one of the kittens at our rescue.
How nice.
And potentially a third kitten who currently has health issues. We're waiting for blood work results on her.
So you're going to do the microchip demonstration.
Yes.
I've always been
so a scanner is something small that is handheld, and you pass it over the back of the cat's neck. Hang on now. Just like this. and then a 15-digit serial number comes up telling you that no other animal in the world has this number.
Wow.
So just if you find a cat and bring it to a vet or a shelter or someone like myself who scans the pet for a microchip, all we have to look at is the first 3 digits of the microchip number to look up which company makes it, and then we get in touch with the company to report it. So just in the past 3 weeks, I've rescued 2 different adult cats who both had microchips.
Yep.
In one case, it had been missing for several months because it was an indoor cat who escaped.
Wow.
In another case, it was a gentleman who had an outdoor cat for 2 years, and one day she just walked away and he didn't see her for 5 or 7 months.
Well, this is so great that the animals can get in touch with their proper homes.
That's
because
right.
Despite, I know that you say the cats have to stay indoors, but sometimes they're curious about the outdoors and they do sneak off. And
Yeah, or
and
people
then
who
they
have
get
outdoor
disoriented.
cats.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, it's okay. Okay, so that event is coming up on April 12th. Is there anything else you want our viewers to know about your work these days?
Well, yes. One thing I want people to know is if you see kittens living outside, they really shouldn't be. Please report them immediately to Healing Animal Scars or any other local animal rescue group. And we will be able to set humane traps to safely capture them, and then we will start the vetting process and getting them healthy enough for adoption. Also, we have a program called Litter Quitters, where if your mother cat has already had a litter of kittens, please don't give them away for free. You can surrender them to our rescue, where we will spay the mother cat for free in exchange for you surrendering all of the kittens. So that way we don't have kittens being given away for free that will never be spayed and neutered and thus repeat the cycle.
Yeah, thoughtful programming. Obviously, these programs cost a lot of money, though, so how can people support Healing Scars?
Well, we have multiple fundraisers coming up for our 20th anniversary, the first one being the April Vets Microchip Clinic on April 12th. Then we have a couple of different Facebook auctions happening that they can find on my personal profile, Sonia D. Higgins, or on the Healing Animal Scars group or page on Facebook. We have a kitty tea party coming up on May 24th that we will be having visitors come to our home in Cole Harbour and visit with the kittens and have a nice outdoor tea party.
Oh my gosh, your graphic designer gets an A+ for this one. Well, Sonia, we're out of time. Thank you so much for coming in. Thank you, Hobbit. You're gorgeous.
He says, I know it.
He does know it. It's 8:28. We'll take a little break and be back with more of the show right after this.
Thank you.
Still ahead this morning, Canadian-made skincare will chat with the founder of a New Brunswick company about her mission to help customers look and feel better organically. That's coming up in the last 30 minutes of Your Morning Atlantic.
Hey, good morning, Atlantic Canada. It is 8:31, 9:01 if you're in Newfoundland and parts of Labrador. You made it to the end of March.
Yeah,
you did.
And it was touch and go there for a little while.
It really was.
I think for all of us.
But I think seeing cute little animals really makes her day.
It does.
I was teasing our director, Vicky. I said, we got a cat coming in tomorrow. You get one guess what the cat's name is. And she immediately knew. I have a big love of Lord of the Rings. Vicky, not so much. She doesn't share that passion. But she was going ahead and she said, Gandalf? No. And
impressive,
yeah,
though.
Aragorn?
Aragorn, oh,
that'd be great. Hobbit, and Hobbit was
Hobbit's
so
now leaving the building.
Yeah, Hobbit's off on an adventure.
Hobbit is on a Hobbit's tail.
That really cool what Sonia said about the microchipping, that in the last couple of weeks she's already had 2 that they were able to reunite with their owners. And it's a simple process.
Yeah, I'm glad she just showed us. She's like a little whoop, whoop,
and the
scan.
putting in of it, it's just like they pull up the ruff of the neck and just shoot it in there. That's it.
That's it.
So you can have that done we put the details on our website coming up at April Vets, which is a great idea if your pet isn't already microchipped.
Yeah, no, especially for those who have lost pets.
Yeah.
Oh,
for
that's
sure.
So sad
Oh, it's so sad and scary. Yeah.
Right? You definitely don't want to lose a pet today.
No, but great place to walk your pet though here.
Great place to walk.
Get some scallops.
Especially right now. Don't do it later this afternoon, but go for your walk now is my suggestion, because right now we're just having some cloud cover. But later it's going to be a little bit messy. We're not quite done with winter yet, even though it's technically spring. And we are seeing some spring-like temperatures across Nova Scotia and southern parts of New Brunswick. We are not quite out of the woods yet because we do have some weather coming our way. We have a special weather statement in effect Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, significant snow, ice pellets, and freezing rain coming into the region. We also have an orange level alert and a couple of yellow level alerts. So starting with the orange, the most severe of these alerts, we are seeing a freezing rain warning overnight with significant ice buildup due to that freezing rain. So that's why that level is in effect. We have a yellow level alert for the same throughout most of central New Brunswick. And then we also have that snowfall warning tonight into Wednesday for about 20 to 25 centimeters of snow for Cape Breton. We also have an extreme cold warning in effect for Labrador, so wind chills near that minus 45-degree mark to start the morning on Wednesday. So Wednesday is going to be cold and it's going to be wet, so make sure you are bundling up if you do have to get out and about. I'll have a full look at that forecast coming up in just a bit, but for now, let's head over to Amanda for your last look at local news headlines.
And we begin with another big increase for prices at the pumps in both Nova Scotia and Prince Edward Island as the conflict in the Middle East continues. In Nova Scotia Zone 1, that's the Halifax area, gas increased by over 7 cents. The minimum price now $1.82.9 a litre. Diesel in the Halifax area jumped by nearly 11 cents. The minimum price now $2.46.7 for diesel. In Prince Edward Island, gas increased by over 8 cents. The minimum price now $1.94.8 a litre. And diesel on the island jumped by 13.8 cents. The minimum price now $2.56.3 a litre. Prices did not change in New Brunswick Monday night. P.E.I. has become the first province in the country to lower the screening age for colorectal cancer to 45. The Premier made the announcement Monday, saying it's effective immediately. Several national health groups have noted recently the disease is increasingly showing up in younger people. Colorectal Cancer Canada and the Canadian Cancer Society are among those urging all provinces to drop the screening age to 45 from the current 50. Opposition parties in New Brunswick are offering their initial reactions to the results of a review on NB Power.
I don't see a whole lot of earth-shattering things here that's going to make anything all that better for ratepayers.
People will be disappointed that it doesn't make strong recommendations that would make their power costs more affordable.
After a year of public consultation, the authors of a review on NB Power released 50 recommendations meant to stabilize NB Power and make future rate increases predictable. However, the current report offers no relief for customers expecting to see their bills go down. Instead, the panel says the provincial government should take over some of the utility's $6 billion debt to cover rate caps and freezes implemented by past provincial governments. The province's energy minister says government will act on the recommendations in a timely and transparent way, and that next steps will be announced by the end of May. The man in charge of Nova Scotia Power admits the utility has an image problem with its customers.
All I can tell you is I've spent the last month, and prior to that, 2 weeks beforehand, I went out to visit our plants, visit our depots, tour the province. I'm going to spend a lot of time listening to customers in all regions, and that's work that's already been happening before me, but I am going to continue it. And we are going to restore trust, and we are going to be transparent.
Vivek Sood assumed the top job at the beginning of the month. He was our guest last night on CTV News at 6 with Bruce Frisco. You can find the full interview up on our website, ctvnewsatlantic.ca. A fiddle-filled fundraiser took over the Sanctuary Arts Centre. It was to support Maritime Music's Scholarship Fund. CTV's Jim Quammen has the toe-tapping details.
We hosted a fiddle party, a fundraising concert for the Maritime Music Scholarship Fund. It was a kitchen party style event. We have local fiddlers and musicians joining us, and there was music from all over Canada, traditional music from Nova Scotia and Quebec, as well as some tunes from America and the EU as well.
Oh, after supper, them fellas got tight, began to shoot and began to fight.
We're a community music school in the north end of Halifax. We opened up in 2021 and we've grown to over 200 students. We offer fiddle lessons and violin lessons, guitar, voice, piano, We offer lessons for kids and adults, and something we find really important is social music making. You know, me and my sister opened the school after a lifetime of experiences in social music making at fiddle camps and at in group lessons, and so we thought it was really important for kids to experience playing music together. Up till now, we've given out, I believe it's almost $10,000 worth of scholarships. We're running 2 summer camps this summer. We have a Kaylee camp, which is kind of like a kitchen party camp for fiddles and violins and pianos and guitars. And then we have a Taylor Swift camp as well, which is a week of singing and dancing and bracelet making and just general Swiftie merriment.
Oh, looks like a good time. It was
tapping your toes.
Toe tapping.
Toe tapping.
Step dancing. Bird watching. That's where we're going to go next. Fans of bird watching and eagles can now enjoy a bird's eye view. An online video live stream of 2 bald eagles in their nest in Gardner Mines in Cape Breton has officially launched. The Port Morean Wildlife Association calls this the first of its kind life cycle educational initiative here in Atlantic, Canada. In case you were wondering, the eagles have been named Bruce and Suji. The live stream is on YouTube and available on their website. I did ask to have it cut, and it was ready. I must have done something wrong. So you know what, people? Tomorrow we're going to have Bruce and Suji cam. You'll have that, but I'll get you the actual cam. Because earlier one of them was sleeping, and it was really cute.
They might,
Crystal was
be
excited.
burrowing in, though, because the weather.
That's true. We'll be
yeah,
to see what they look like. We'll check in tomorrow. I will show you the video. It's really, really cool. You can pull it up and watch for free. You can get, when they're sleeping, who knew an eagle turns around and put its head like in the feathers, kind of like a duck or a goose?
It's so cute.
I know.
That is going on in our region constantly now, thanks to them putting those cameras in. But also around our region, we have the community calendar. So we'll start in New Brunswick with the Music of the Night makes a stop in St. John. The concert tour is a celebration of Andrew Lloyd Webster's greatest hits.
It's a hit. This is a good show.
Oh, that sounds good.
Of course, the show will take place Thursday, April 2nd at 7:30 at the Imperial Theatre. So enjoy a beautiful performance of Webb's most iconic theatrical music, including Phantom of the Opera, Cats, Jesus Christ Superstar, and more. And enjoy mystical sounds of crystal bowls, drums, and flutes to enhance and deepen your experience through the Soundscapes Sound Bath and P.E.I. On Friday, April 3rd, you can enjoy an active listening journey. The event will be held at the Nature Space Resort and Retreat at 7:30 p.m. For tickets, just head to their website.
I expect Sandra Bullock. Circa Miss Congeniality.
Especially with her choice of song.
Choice of talent, yes.
And of course, head to the Art Gallery of Nova Scotia Thursday, April 2nd to enjoy an informal conversation with 4 artists featured in the exhibit conversation.
Threads,
thank you. I can't read today. From 7 to 8:30 p.m., learn more about their work on display. Enjoy a walk and conversation through the exhibit. So that's Creative Minds. And of course, if you have an event coming up, well, we want to hear about us. Send us those juicy details to Your Morning Atlantic at ctv.ca, and we'll do our best to get them in the show. But don't go anywhere just yet. We'll be right back. Hey, good morning, Fredericton. 8:45, 9:15 if you are in Newfoundland and parts of Labrador. And yes, it is a gray start to the day. We're seeing pretty average type temperatures to begin our day, but we are going to have some more weather coming through. Yes, just what you wanted to hear on this last day of March, that we're going to be having some more wet weather coming through. But that is indeed what the forecast is saying. So right now we do have a special weather statement in effect. So that's going to be tonight into Wednesday morning. We are going to see significant snow pellets, ice, freezing rain. So definitely things to take into consideration as you start your day. We have an orange level alert. So that freezing rain, the big concern here is that there's going to be a significant ice buildup due to that freezing rain. So again, something to consider as you head out and about to start your day on Wednesday. We also have a couple of yellow level alerts. So that freezing rain, again, with those same conditions for central parts of New Brunswick into southern parts as well. And we are going to continue to see a snowfall
advisory, we are going to have about 20 to 25 centimeters of snow throughout parts of Cape Breton. So we also have a yellow level alert for a cold warning in parts of Labrador. Wind chills between up to that minus 45-degree mark early Wednesday morning. So if you have to get out and about Wednesday, just make sure you're taking the consideration into your timing, because it is going to be slippery, it's going to be cold, it's going to be wet. Why is that? We are seeing this low pressure system coming in, really impacting a little bit later this afternoon into the early hours of this evening. And then it's really going to impact overnight into the early hours of Wednesday morning. So we're seeing that wintry mix. So snow, freezing rain, regular rain. So that's going to be accumulating over the course of the next 24 hours. As for today, we are going to see a little bit warmer temperatures. So from 4 degrees to 1 degree throughout New Brunswick. Of course, colder up in northern parts, which is why we'll see snow over there. Over on Prince Edward Island, minus 1 to 2 degree. Again, those flurries beginning a little bit later, cloudy conditions to start the day. Minus 1 over to 4 degrees for eastern parts of Nova Scotia. Again, that mix of snow, rain, ice, freezing rain, pretty much all of it coming through a little bit later this evening. And we are seeing those warmer temperatures through parts of Nova Scotia. Again, mostly rain in western parts. Colder conditions up in Labrador, and we are seeing some flurries as well for most of Newfoundland for today. So watching this system push through, we will see it pretty much clear out by Wednesday afternoon. Thursday, we'll see mostly a mix of sun and cloud. And then into Friday, we are going to see another low pressure system coming back into the region. So we're not quite out of the woods yet, Crystal.
Thank you so much, Brianne. It's 8:48. Now, we are starting to shift our skincare from heavy winter products to warmer weather products that will keep our skin glowing while also protecting us from the increased UV rays. If you're in need of a refresh, Glomulin could be the perfect solution. The company is based in New Brunswick and focuses on organic and natural ingredients. Here to share the details, we welcome back Angela Hughes, the founder of Glomulin. Good morning, Angela.
Good morning.
So let's talk about spring skincare. Let's begin. I understand you have a couple of new products that you've launched for the season ahead. Let's talk about your sunscreen. What sets it apart from others?
So this is our sunscreen. It's a mineral sunscreen, and the mineral part is clay and zinc oxide, which gives the plant extracts a boost for sun protection. I would say it's about a 50 SPF. I use it when I play tennis, and it gives me, one application gives me about 2 hours of protection. And it's, I love the fact that it doesn't contain any ingredients that I don't recognize. Every ingredient in it is non-harmful. And as most people know, I think when you put something on your skin is porous.
Yes.
So about 60% of what you put on your skin ends up in your bloodstream. So for me, it's very important to have something that's non-toxic, that I can feel safe about using it, and it gives me the protection I need.
Interesting that since you use it yourself, yeah, that you could certainly speak to its quality and effectiveness. Let's talk about the bug sprays now. I understand you have a line of pest control for the summer months.
Well, I have one product. This is our bug spray, and the bug fighting part of it is essential oils. So it contains 6 different essential oils in a significant percentage. One of the essential oils is lemongrass, which actually was studied for repelling ticks by a university in Nova Scotia. And it was shown to be as effective as any commercial chemical tick repellent on the market. I've also used this. My husband and I do a bit of ATVing around the area here in New Brunswick. And in the spring, there's a lot of black flies, and it is effective in a swarm of black flies that will keep them from lighting on you.
Interesting. Now, you say it has lemongrass and other essential oils. I bet it smells fantastic.
It does. My daughter says, Mom, you could use this as a body spray. It smells so good.
Well, that's good. That's great news, because I think one of the people's big things about bug spray is the smell. It can be very overpowering and different.
Yes.
All right, let's talk about some of your other products. I know that your ingredients are natural. What are some of the big sellers right now?
Our biggest seller is our moisturizing face cream. This is the first product we developed, and the main ingredient is avocado oil, which has been shown in scientific tests to help synthesize collagen. And as we age, we lose collagen. I'm 63. I've used this product every day since we invented it in 2016. And I think my skin is pretty good for my age. And many of our customers have used it and just love it. We have kind of a skincare package that includes a rose water toner, coconut oil cleanser, and we have a couple of serums. One is an anti-aging serum that one of its main ingredients is rosehip seed oil, which will reduce the appearance of fine lines, but it also will either reduce or eliminate brown spots, which a lot of us have through sun exposure. Another serum we have is our collagen boost serum, and this is about 50% avocado oil, and again, avocado oil helps to synthesize collagen.
Well, Angela, that's the time we have, but thank you so much for this introduction of some new products today. We appreciate your time.
Okay, well, thank you for having me.
It is now 8:53. We're going to take a break, and we have put a link to Angela's Glomulin website on ours. See you in about 2 minutes.
Welcome back. If you've been watching throughout the morning, we've been asking you to send us a text message for the Move Morning Chat because we were asking what was minimum wage for your first job. We have some fun answers. Dana, Sydney, $5.15 an hour, 1994, Tim Hortons.
Living life.
Yeah, not long after. Christy from Lower Sackville, first job was at a Tim Hortons on Sackville Drive in 1990, and the minimum wage then was $4.75.
Ooh, and probably some free stale donuts at the end of the day.
Oh, yeah. And some extra
free stale
tips,
donuts.
too. Remember when you could only pay cash at Tim's?
Yep.
Debbie, Nova Scotia, wages in 1970 were $1 an hour. Wow, worked hard for that. MT&T directory assistance operator.
Ooh, Debbie.
Loved it.
Oh my gosh, the stories you could tell.
Right? Right? It's funny at the time, too. Brian from Halifax, 90 cents per hour at Eaton's Halifax Shopping Center, 1966. Selling women's and children's shoes.
Oh my gosh, if I could get a time machine and go back and see. Oh, what fun that would have been.
How cool. Corinne says, I watch from New Brunswick, but I grew up in Cape Breton. My waitressing rate back in 1980s was $4 an hour.
Yep.
Wow.
Sounds about right.
Donna from St. John, my first job was with Ponderosa as a bus girl. I would go after school and work for 4 hours. My hourly wage was $2.15 per hour. So in a 4-hour shift, I made $8.60 before taxes.
But you could go to the salad bar, which was always a good time.
Oh, the Ponderosa salad bar.
Oh my gosh, this was fun. I liked this question. Yay.
Okay, well, thanks for joining us. Enjoy your Tuesday, last day of March, and good luck with the weather tomorrow.